Good morning, children. Welcome to 8th standard online science class. Today we are going to start a new unit in reproduction in plants and animals. Reproduction in plants and animals. What is reproduction? Reproduction is nothing but giving birth to the young ones. Producing its own generation is called reproduction, and we are going to discuss that happens in plants and animals. This reproduction may be sexual or asexual. Okay, sexual or asexual. The farmer, that is the asexual, requires just one parent and no sex cells. The new individual arises from a part of the parent's body. Binary fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, spore formation, vegetative propagation are few modes of asexual reproduction. So what is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction is nothing but it requires just one parent. There is no need of sex cells. Okay, the new individual arises from the part of the parent's body. From the parent's body, the new individual arises. Such a reproduction is called as asexual reproduction. So some of the methods of asexual reproduction are binary fission. Binary fission is nothing but one cell, single cell divides into two and the two becomes new organisms. Similarly, it goes on. That is called binary fission. This binary fission is happening in unicellular organism like amoeba. The next one is multiple fission. Multiple fission which occurs in corolla. Okay, so in corolla the multiple fission arises. Okay, here instead of one cell the many cells multiples, and they each cell grows into a new organism. The offsprings, that is the young ones, bears the same character as its parent. As like the parent, they have the same characters. So this is an example for budding. Okay, this is an example for budding which is happening in which happens in yeast. See, from the parent organism, a bud-like structure will be arised. This bud-like structure forms a new organism. This each bud-like structure forms a new organism. This is called budding. Do you understand, children, what is budding? The next one is fragmentation. From the parent's body, a part of the body develops and it is converted into a new organism. That is called budding. I'm sorry. That is called fragmentation. Okay, the small bud arises from the bud again converts into another new organism. After maturity, it gets separated from the parent. Okay, that is called fragmentation. Do you understand? Yes. The next method of asexual reproduction is regeneration. Regeneration is also a sort of asexual reproduction. Here is a modified form of fragmentation. Actually, if any part of the parent organism get damaged due to accidentally or some any for any purpose, the cut out part will develop again, and it forms a new organism. See here, this is in the case of hydra. This is the newly developed part. Actually, this part of hydra has been cut, and this is the newly developed part, and this has been converted into a new organism. This is called regeneration. Do you understood what is regeneration, children? Yes. Another method of asexual reproduction is spore formation. The spores formed in the parent plant will be developed. The spores formed in the parent plant will be developed into another living. The next one is very important one, vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, it is not that the plant should grow only from the seed. It can grow from either the fruits or vegetables which it has. Okay, so you can see the potato. From the potato you can see a eye-like structure on its surface. That eye-like structure, from that eye-like structure a new plant will be arising. Okay, a new plant will be arising. So this is a method of vegetative reproduction. Similarly, in the case of ginger also, there will be nodes. Okay, lines will be present on the ginger, isn't it? So that lines are called nodes. That from the nodes the scale leaves will be arising. Okay, the scale leaves will be arising. It is not only from the seed the plant should arise, even from the fruit of the plant, the new plant arises. Okay, children. Yes. Then in the case of onion, see, the stem arises from the bulb part of the onion, So when you grow, or when you keep this part of onion in the soil, it will grow into a new plant. Do you understood what is vegetative propagation? So instead of seed, instead of regeneration or something else, from the fruit of the plant itself, a new plant is developing. That is called vegetative propagation. So far we have discussed the asexual methods of reproduction, right children? Hope you have understood clearly. So in vegetative propagation, a new individual is produced from a particular part of the parent's plant body, like the stem or leaf. We use this ability of plants to cultivate various type of plants which we need or want to grow. This method of artificial vegetative propagation include cutting, layering, grafting, tissue culture, etc. So this artificial, these are all natural way. Okay, from the potato growing, from the ginger, the new plant growing, these are all natural way. Even artificially we can also propagate. Let us see how. This figure represents the artificial vegetative propagation of cutting method. Okay, of cutting method. The one of the lowest branch is soaked into the soil, and that branch develops the root and forms a new plant. So this is the next method, which is called to be grafting. Okay, grafting is the method of artificial vegetative reproduction. By this we can produce. See, actually this is the scion, that is the base of a big plant, and the stalk is the base of the big plant, and scion is the new plant which has to be implemented into the base plant. Okay, so we can take any scion of our wish. Okay, that color, taste, we can decide the color, taste, everything of that, and we implement on this the base root, so that we get a new plant. Okay, after grafting method we get a new plant, and that is the artificial method of vegetative propagation. Okay. Tissue culture is a method which the plant species is grown in the laboratory, and the grown species are transferred to the nurseries, and from there it develops into a new plant. Here also we can create the plants of our own. Okay, we can mix and match any type of plants we want. Okay children, so this is about tissue culture. Sexual reproduction usually requires two parents and involves sex cells or gametes. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the sexual reproduction. So it requires two parents and involves sex cells or gametes. One parent contributes to a male gamete, and another a female gamete called an egg cell or ovum. The gametes fuse to produce the zygote, the first cell of the new individual. So this process is called fertilization. So the fusion of male gametes and the female gametes is called to be the fertilization. Okay children, the zygote goes through the repeated division and develops into an embryo. The offspring bears characters of both parent. So the anthrosium of the flower comprises stamens, or the male reproductive part of the plant. So which is the male reproductive part, anthrosium, and the gynoecium, that is the female reproductive system, comprises carpels, or the female reproductive parts. So the plants sexually reproduced by pollination method. Pollen grains produced in another anthers of the stamen contains male gametes. The cell lies within the ovule in the ovary. So pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma. It is usually facilitated by the wind, water, or certain animals. Okay, wind, water, and certain animals. The self-pollination is the transfer of pollen from a flower to the stigma of the same flower or other flowers of the same plant. Okay, if the pollination is taking place within the plant, then we call it as self-pollination. If it may be within the flower, or it may be between the flowers of the same plant. So that is called self-pollination. When the pollen grains is carried to the stigma of the flowers of another plant, then it is called cross-pollination. Do you understand the difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination, children? Hope you have so this pollination can occur by different various agents carry out this pollinations like wind, water, uh, animals, etc. Okay, do you understand? Yes, do you understand the cross pollination and self pollination, children? So if the pollination happens between the flowers within the same flower or within the flowers of the same plant, then we call it as self pollination. This is called to be self pollination. Okay, then if the pollination is taking place between the flowers of two different flowers of two different plants, then we call it as cross pollination. Do you understood what is cross pollination? Every self pollination and cross pollination. Pollination means this pollen grains, no? Yes, this pollen grains transferred to the stigma. Okay, from anther to stigma, it is called pollination. By that, the plants get fertilized. The process of obtaining a new variety by artificial means is called a hybridization. Is called a hybridization, and the new variety of plant is called hybrid. So what is hybridization? The process of obtaining a new variety by artificial means. By artificial means is called to be hybridization, and the new variety of plant obtained through hybridization is called a hybrid. Is it clear, children? Yes. After pollination, the pollen grains produce a pollen tube. Okay, produce a pollen tube which carries the male gametes down the stale into the ovule. Down the stale into the ovule. See, down the stale into the down the stale into the ovule, where one of these fuses with the female gametes. So it fuses with the female gamete, and this is called fertilization. After first fertilization, the ovule is transformed into seed and the ovary into the fruit. The ovule is the ovule present here will be transformed into the seed, and the ovary is transferred into the fruit. This will develop into a fruit. The outer coat, that is developed into a fruit. Do you understand, children? Yes. The zygote within the ovule grows to form an embryo, consists of a radicle, plumule and cotyledons. The embryo lies dormant in the seed until it gets the right condition for germination. So the zygote contains these radicals, plumules, cotyledons, everything. Okay. The embryos lie in the seed, so it will lie inside the seed itself until it gets the right condition to germinate. If it attains the right condition, automatically it will grow. So that is called germination. So far we have discussed the sexual and asexual reproduction in the case of plants. Now we are going to discuss the sexual reproduction in animals. In the case of animals, how does animals sexually reproduce? Okay, in animals, fertilization may take place either outside or inside the female's body. Outside or inside the female's body. Fertilization is external in fish, amphibians, and internal in mammals, birds and reptiles. You know that, isn't it? So in the case of fishes and amphibians means the organisms which live both in land and water. Example, frog. So they are water. The fertilization takes place outside their body. You know that, isn't it? So that is called external fertilization. The fusion of the gametes takes place outside the female's body. That is called external fertilization. If the fusion takes place within the female's body, that is called internal fertilization. Do you understood the difference between external fertilization and internal fertilization, children? Yes, this internal fertilization takes place in the case of human beings, birds, reptiles. Human beings, in the sense we can say in common mammals. Mammals are the one which gives birth to the young ones, isn't it? So that is called mammals. So these are capable of internal fertilization. In the human beings, the male reproductive organs, what are the organs involved in reproduction? They are testis, vas deferens, epidermis, some associated glands and penis. So these are the uh, male reproductive organs. What are the male reproductive organs? Testis. Okay, testis are the male reproductive organs, and epidermis are the epidermis, testis, vas deferens, or all these are male reproductive organs. Male reproductive organs. Do you understand, children, what are all male reproductive organs? Yes. The female, what about the female reproductive organs? So this is the female reproductive organs. The female reproductive organs are the ovaries. Okay, what the ovaries? So where are the ovaries? Yes, we have two ovaries. Human beings have two ovaries. These are the two ovaries. Okay, children, these are the two ovaries, and fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is here. Okay, this is the fallopian tube. And what about the next one? This fallopian tubes, uterus and a vagina. Okay, uterus, you have uterus and a vagina. Okay, so these are the female reproductive organs which involved in the reproduction. Sperms are produced by the testes. We have already seen the male reproductive organ is testis. So, and sperms are produced in the testis, and ova is produced in the ovaries. Ova is produced in the ovaries. This fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. Okay, fertilization takes place in this fallopian tube. The sperm enters through this vagina and moves upward to the fallopian tube, where the ovaries, here the ovaries produce the ova, no? The ovaries produce the ova, and the ova enters here, and the sperms enter from the vagina, and they fuses at the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Do you understand? Yes. The embryo develops into the uterus. After the fusion, the embryo forms. That embryo is developed in the uterus. Embryo develops in the uterus. Do you understand? Yes. The embryo develops in the uterus. So the embryo develops in the uterus and receives oxygen, nutrients and so on through the plantia. Okay, through the plantia. So it receives oxygen, nutrition and everything there, and develops into a baby. Okay, the developed baby is called fetus. In human beings, the embryo develops in the uterus for 9 months before the baby is born. You know this, isn't it? So it develops in the uterus for 9 months. Within the uterus, the baby is surrounded by the amniotic sac. So within the baby is developed in the uterus, and it grows there until the 9th month. So inside the uterus, we have an amniotic sac which contains amniotic fluid. This fluid acts like a cushion. Okay, this is actually a liquid. Okay, this is actually a liquid, and this liquid acts as a cushion for the baby to stay inside the to stay in the uterus. Okay, in the uterus, it makes the baby comfortable. This amniotic sac. This amniotic sac contains the amniotic fluid. Do you understand, children? If the ovum is not fertilized, it is thrown out through the vagina. It is thrown out through the vagina together with the lining of the uterus and blood. This process is known as menstruation. As I said, the fusion takes place in the fallopian tube, isn't it? Fallopian tube, and the the embryo is developing in the uterus. The embryo is developing in the uterus. If the fertilization is not taking place here, okay, what happens? This ova, the produced ova, no, that is sent through the vagina, sent through out of our body through the vagina. Okay, and not only the ova, and also the lining of the uterus, the inner wall of the uterus, as well as some amount of blood will be expelled out through the vagina, and that is called to be menstruation. Menstruation, the menstruation plays a vital role in the reproductive uh, state of uh, state of the human beings. Okay, so this process, the whole process of ovulation, thickening of the uterine lining and menstruation is called cycle menstrual cycle, and it is usually a 28 days cycle. You know that it is a 28 days cycle. Menstruation stops when a woman is around 45 to 50, and this is called menopause. Do you understood, children? So in this lesson we have learned about the reproduction systems of reproduction types of animals and plants, and in detail about the human beings. Hope you have understood very well, children. So complete the book exercise, write the question answers, and keep preparing for the upcoming exams, children. Thank you, children. Meet you in the next class.